When we decided to make a art house genre movie as this, we needed a trick, we needed a twist. Of course, we can't reveal too much, but you could say that we wanted something that wasn't just documentary. We wanted something that would be a trick of fiction. So we decided to change main character. Most of all because you're always told you can't do that. So that's exciting in itself. Right?
And also because when we found out that the prison is also very divided in sections, we liked how that portrayed society as well. And as most of Europe and as Denmark as well, it's also very divided. So we also like the duality of two characters, which are very different but in the same conflicts. So how does that make their personality come about? That we thought that was interesting, and that was actually a very initial idea. And then out of research, we developed a storyline.
The first outline was called R, for a simple reason that the guy who plays the mason, his name is Rotterdam and Gothenburg, and he's an ex-convict, and he spent 5 years of his life in that jail. At the time, I didn't have an agreement with him yet, but we could use some of his stories. So I would just title it R from the beginning as a reference to Rotterdam and Gothenburg. And then at the time when we found out we had two characters, Aruna and Rashid, and we thought it made sense because they're not human as you go inside. You're just a number or a letter, so it doesn't really matter what your name is. So it made sense, but it just came up as a practical way to not mention Roland Møller too early.
And we also thought that the coldness of just having a letter being the title, we liked that, like to cut away all the fat and just have a skeleton left. So that's also kind of like how we made the film, cinematically and story-wise. Well, I mean, I'm documentary based, and I think if you documentaries are extremely, either they're very journalistic or they're very auteur based, and this is also in many ways a brotherhoodly auteur project. But I think it was obvious for us it should be a fiction, no doubt about it. Also because then it could be like a debut, and it would both be an experiment for us. Yeah. Because it's both a huge task to take upon our shoulders to direct our first fiction feature together. So we thought that's a good way of shaking hands upon it.
Then we don't have to be that nervous with two guys. And at the same time, I'm almost only fiction. I'm a screenwriter from my background, so I would bring in the fiction, you can say. But the thing that made us good friends in the past, when we met up the first time, was that we both enjoy reality. It's like reality rules in the screenplay I'm writing, and of course in Michael's documentaries. And we love to just look upon reality and take elements from reality instead of making up stuff. So we decided that it would be great to bring it together and be two directors, because we have different backgrounds but the same love for the reality. So we decided that we should do it and try to bring the best of both worlds, you could say.
And it also gives a lot of confidence when you're two, that you have to face this huge amount of research and these real people. Because I think that it just made it so that we have 4 eyes and 4 hands and 2 hearts. So I think it just enhanced the whole respect part of making this film, because we needed to give these people a lot of respect to be able to open their hearts so that they wanted to be in the film.
There was a casting process, of course, and the prison was emptied, and we made a casting process where we found 75 guys who came voluntarily without us picking them up, that had a past in the prison. So of course it was an easy choice for us to make, because they would already know what to do, how to walk around in the yard, how to work in the kitchen, how to be in a cell. So at that point we knew that they could direct us when we were on location, because they had spent time there. And at the same time we decided that I would say that we didn't want to write lines for them. We only want to give them motivation so that they can fill in the blanks with themselves instead of with a character made from us. We had lines for everybody, but we never gave the lines to the actors. We always said, how would you say a thing like this? But of course we wrote a screenplay with all the lines. And the actor Pilu, who's the only trained actor who's playing Rune, he got all his lines. He didn't improvise. But nobody, I think the funny part is nobody improvised. Everybody just did what they found natural themselves within the limits that we put up for them.
I mean, improvisation is also, I think we also found improvisation is a very complex thing, because you really need a tight plot, because otherwise you'll just improvise yourself out into nowhere. Because a lot of funny things are worth improvising about, but I think our screenplay was very much like a tight plot and tight actions, so we could always stick to that when we were drifting apart. And also it was a very beneficial rule to say that the camera must always follow the main character, because it kind of like limited the view, which made the film more claustrophobic, but also made us focus. So it was very much about making rules for ourselves so that we focused.
And in the screenplay writing, the only rule we had, we forced ourselves and not to write any emotions. So it's only practical comments in the script. We never write, he feels sad and sitting in the window. We would only write, he's sitting in the window smoking a cigarette. Because then the person that we're filming can fill in the blanks with his own emotion, like he would. And probably he's just remembering a time when he was in jail. But I believe I can feel it. If I had written and forced a feeling upon him, or emotion upon him, he wouldn't have been able to solve that, because he's not a trained actor, he's not a professional.
I mean, like a big part of the drama in the film is that our main character is at the top of, he's at the bottom, and it's hard to be at the bottom, and nobody else wants to be at the bottom, so everybody tries to keep him down, and that's like the initial plot of the film. But that's also a very good, it's a very good cue to give to men, because everybody knows how it is to be at a football club. Everybody knows how it is to not be the one that's being made fun of.
Well, that's always a king.
Yeah, and there's also, the whole hierarchy thing is you put together 10 men in a room and they'll make their own little kingdom. Well, it comes out in April, and of course this is in many ways a very political statement. But we tried to make a film which did not point fingers at anyone. We really tried to stick to the reality of how the system works, and then people can make their own opinions upon it. Because we don't have a better idea of how you could better the system or anything. We're just saying that take a look at the prison system.
The funny thing is that I guess as in Holland and many other places in Europe, a lot of politicians are elected with the phrase harder punishment, because it's easy for people to understand that. But nobody knows what this punishment is. So it was just funny to paint this picture. When you're talking about punishment, this is what you're talking about. So let's just face that. I don't have a view if it's wrong or not. I don't have any better idea. We don't have any ideas for approval. But we only have but we only have we have the idea and the vision to just show an honest, realistic picture of the system.